This June, we pause to remember the lessons from the Maine Wabanaki State Child Welfare Truth and Reconciliation Commission. It was on June 14th, 2015, when the commission issued its final report and findings on their investigation of experiences of Native people in Maine child welfare system. We learned about ways to improve child welfare. The commission acknowledged the larger forces that contributed to the experiences in child welfare: cultural genocide, institutional racism, intergenerational trauma, and undermining tribal sovereignty. These acknowledgements help us understand what we must do to create change and to heal. Today, we call on people and communities of faith to pause in gratitude for all who told their stories, for the commission and its staff who gathered them with care, for people across this territory who honor their stories by committing themselves to learning and promoting change. In this time of reflection and prayer, may we join with the efforts for truth, healing, and change.
And I know it's a lot of times we focus on the negative in the state of Maine that happens between the state and the tribes. But if you really look down into what has been done in this state, we are far ahead of any other state in this country. And it's because of the work that we have done, including the sweat lodges, including teaching Wabanaki history in schools, the mascot issue, all of the allies we have trained that have made differences in pockets that we don't even understand. You know, maybe like I talked about being on the jury for the Blueberry Company when they were being sued. I believe there were people on that jury who had taken the training, because never would I have believed Washington County would have gone in favor of the tribe
Yeah.
of racism.
Yeah.
So, I think that there's a lot of those things that have impacted even individuals who are in the legislature today.
Mm.
Some of them are impacted by the work that we've done, and they take that with them.
It became much bigger in a way that I never foresaw. That and it was bigger in the world, and it was bigger inside myself too. Like it really, the things that I thought about myself at the beginning of the process are different now. Like there's an intimacy with understanding racism and oppression and colonization that I understood as more sort of constructs outside of myself, but there I understand them a bit more inside of myself and my own. I thought that I could help facilitate change out here, but it also, I didn't really think about the way that I had to step up internally to facilitate change.
Yeah, me too. I used to be the scared little Native woman, and people would say things to me that were racist, and I would hang my head and walk away. And then through all of this, I gained, not only an understanding of what that all was, but I gained support and strength so that I was able to lift my head and talk back to it.
I think one of the things that I feel like I've gotten from it is a piece that I really long for us as a bigger society, that capacity to hold like what is beautiful about who we are and what is like hurting and damaged, and that those things really can coexist. Yeah. It's truth, healing, and change, right?
Yes.
That the truth, what did Maria Gerard say? That the truth must be told and must be received with compassionate ears.
Yeah.
And so that happening creates more energy for that. And, that there can be negative spirals in life, but there also can be positive, growthful ones towards healing and change. And
in this country, we've set up these places where people can go and they can talk and they can tell their truths, and people will listen, and then you go home and nothing happens. That does nothing to change the impacts, and does nothing to change the individual. What we did is we set up a process where going and telling your truth, we knew was going to make a difference. It was going to make a change. It was going to be listened in a way that was going to lead to something bigger. So just as an individual, knowing that my voice was going to do that changed something in me. It was a different way of truth telling for me. And I think for everybody else that was able to tell their truth.
7 years ago, with the seating of the Maine Wabanaki State Child Welfare Truth and Reconciliation Commission, we prayed. Today, we stand here celebrating. Our prayers are being fulfilled.
O God of all truth, the one who calls us to be companions on a holy and just journey of life, you heard our cry, gathered with us, and blessed us with grace throughout this historic process. O Creator of all that lives, source of all that sustains life, your sacred spirit was the breath that animated and gave life to this Truth and Reconciliation Commission as it began this redemptive work of healing and wholeness. May ancient teachings continue to heal, inspire, and guide.
May we continue to find love at the heart of the truth that is found, the truth that is the foundation of this process of discovery. May wisdom continue to incline those who are prepared to listen, to cherish and absorb even the most difficult of testimonies, calling forth a remorse that can restore trust.
May those whose stories need to be heard possess strong hearts to bravely face any fear. May they be gifted with courage to tell of what pain they have lived and what was taken from them, their childhoods, their children, their culture, their community. May honesty prevail, that neither victims' shame nor perpetrators' blame will hide or deny the errors, abuses, and harms committed in the past and those that continue.
Help us to see each other as friend and not foe. Today, we are grateful for the work that has been done. May those of us with privilege and power cast off any arrogance, experience vulnerability, and change our hearts. May we continue to repair harm to people and fix systems that are unjust.
We have shared stories without shame. We have shared our woundedness. May we continue to restore mutual respect and give freely from the heart. May we continue, in truth, to be the fruit of this good effort. May our work continue to bring peace, justice, and healing for the sake of the children.
Today we thank and ask God to continue to bless the selfless servants, the commissioners, and those who work hard, hand in hand with them to share their stories. May the circle of truth created become more than words. May the truth that was learned shape a new lived reality. We are grateful for the Maine Wabanaki State Child Welfare Truth and Reconciliation Commission and all who took part in this historic process. Creator, continue to bring peace, justice, safety, and healing to the Wabanaki people, and especially the children. Knowledge.
I want to play a song, and it's called Kwe Henu. It's a healing song. For me, it's a healing song for women, and whenever I hear this song, I think about my sister Cheryl and my sister Michelle, who have already passed. And I think about the pictures at the end of the TR, the Maine Wabanaki Dawnland video, where their pictures are at the very end. And I always thought and hoped and prayed that what we were doing would help at least one person, because I want to believe that if they were alive before we started the TRC, that they would still be alive today. And that's why I love this song. So this is all I'm going to sing. Hallelujah, hallelujah, Oh.
When we are blessed, we are called to share our blessings. Over the past several months, during this time of global pandemic, we have all witnessed countless stories of struggle and hardship, countless stories of resilience and generosity. We have been inspired by those who bring strength and courage into our homes, into our workplaces, our churches, and into our local and global communities. Each of us has our own story of rising up from despair to live our faith, to love our neighbors, to be the hope and love we long for, and to shape a more equitable and just response. I have asked Heather Augustine, my friend in the work of Decolonizing Faith, to share her story of resilience and generosity. Welcome, Heather. Heather, you have been committed to food sovereignty work for some time now. How has this work changed for you and the Wabanaki communities?
Last summer, our Indigenous Food Sovereignty Project began as a community building educational experience. We reclaim the land by growing our ancestral crops. The scope of our work has changed this season. It used to be a cultural experience to share with one another, and it has shifted to one of survival. During this time, as we experience COVID-19 pandemic as a Wabanaki community, we are reminded that this is not the first time we as a nation have experienced a pandemic in this territory. I learned during the Exploring Wabanaki Maine history that 2/3 of our population was killed as a result of colonization and the disease settlers brought. The need for food security within our communities has grown. The food we will share with one another is an act of love and resistance. We will share our food, our love, and work together to sustain our community.
During this crisis, many people are not able to work without a safety net to catch them. Maine Wabanaki Reach established a community response fund to help those in need through donations to Reach, Wabanaki Community Food Pantries, and Eastern Woodlands Rematriation Collective. Largely, they have sought to put food on the tables in Wabanaki homes. In different times, when communal gatherings were a part of our social norms, we would have gathered to support, celebrate, and create together. Today, from the safety of our homes, we can connect with Wabanaki communities through our donations. When we are blessed, we are called to share our blessings. Friends in faith and no faith, let us break bread together across the miles with donations that support food security and food sovereignty in Wabanaki tribal communities. O Creator of all that was, is, and will be, breathe life, love, and hope into our days, that we may be fortified for the possibilities
these times offer us. Oh, Creator, during this time of global pandemic, may we be ever mindful of the identities that shape our lives, native and non-native, colonized and colonizer, indigenous and settler, oppressed and privileged. May we be good relatives in the call to honor and support indigenous culture, identity, spirituality, and sovereignty in the land of the Wabanaki people. May this time of celebrating the work of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission guide us as we reach toward a future where truth prevails, where wrongs are righted, where healing triumphs, and where relationships are grounded in connection, equality, and justice. O Creator, give us strength and courage to face the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. So may it be. May it be so.